Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am great. What a weekend. All right. So we always start with gold. So let's start with gold. 2740. Look at this day. It's drop, pump back up, drop, pump back up, drop, pump back up, drop, pump back up, drop, pump back. 5 times they tried to do Eddie Murphy, and 5 times they said not a chance. 2740. 3440. Finally, silver starting to make its move. Look for this to go to 45. I just think it doesn't just go. It kind of, up a little, up, because they're taking profit on the derivatives. So, they're buying new derivatives. They're pushing the price up so they can do a put option to go down and all that. Anyway, so silver should start making the move. What I like is it's after 10 o'clock. All right, so it's 27.39. It's 10:30, right? So we've had this drop at 10. It didn't hold. We had the 8 o'clock drop, which didn't hold. The 6 o'clock, it was like every 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, what the fuck, and 10 o'clock, but it doesn't hold. So we're 34.36. I think we'll see a 40 pretty soon. Today's Tuesday, soon. Hey, Pat. The riggers are dead. Yeah, I'm looking for official news out of Brics World. You like how I call it today's Brics Day? It's D-Day. This woman's the best. Reverse fatty liver. I hate when it does that. Reverse fatty liver in 2 weeks. Everybody makes it sound like it's, oh, it's terrible, and she can reverse everything in 2 weeks. She can cure cancer. It's great. China is broke, so they got all the gold though, so they're really not broke. Keep in mind they're broke in the bullshit toilet paper monopoly money, not per se because they do have gold. Oh, here we go. Little Brics. Watch Brics leaders receive traditional. God, why does it do that? Traditional welcome in Kazan. The game started. We're so excited. World leaders treated with traditional Kazan welcome, whatever that means. Kazan is in Russia, and it's half Christian and half Muslim. So there's churches, there's mosques. Evergrande, yeah. So I'm kind of looking. I'm kind of looking for. Yes, they have announced the gold-backed currency. I think it's just it's been out there. I don't know how deeply they'll get into uh, this. Well, here's something, but reports on China. I don't care. I want bricks. Anyway, I'll look later. So what a happy day. What a happy day as gold goes 27.40, 34.41. Very, very good. And this is really what you're looking at is you're just you're really just looking for what we bought it for the last 3 years, and now it's like, okay, we're not done buying, but pretty much. Now I have a big job interview on Thursday, which I've had before and I didn't get. I can be very patient, very calm, very good. I have a good feeling about it. It seems like they really want me. I don't think I'll be age discriminated in this one. So I think I'll get it. I think I have really good vibes. Then I can start buying a little bit more gold and silver. My cold is just about, it's a lot better. I'm not running nosing as much. It's still a little, but I'm not as tired. I sweated a lot when I slept the last few nights, which is good. I'll go hit the hot tub and the sauna at the club after this. I think I'll get some barbecue today. Anyway, it doesn't look like Brics has not announced it. We know that's where they're going. They're all buying gold. It will be a gold backed current. Like sometimes you hear, well, they're going to do a blockchain and this and that. And you're like, what they don't mention is the gold because they don't want to acknowledge it. So they just say, oh, it's a blockchain, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's two of them. But keep in mind, if they blockchain it and they don't back it by gold, it's still worthless. The yuan's worthless if it's not backed by gold. So is the ruble, so is all the others. So if they do a blockchain in Brics, but they don't back it by gold, it's still worthless. Yeah, they can trade with each other, but it's worthless. The money must be backed by something to have a value. Never forget that fact. So that's what's going on. We'll see gold keep going. It's at least 3,000. It's going, it's just going up 100. Again, if you have 50 ounces, you make $5,000 every time it goes from 2,400 to 25 and 25 to 26. But it's not an investment. And of course, you'd have to sell all yours, which you're not about to do. But the worth it, if you have a Rolex and it's worth 50,000 and goes up to 60,000, it made money. You don't necessarily sell the Rolex, but it's a nice value for you. And that's the difference between Bitcoin being money and Bitcoin being a stock. Bitcoin's a stock, basically, although it doesn't give dividends. But it's basically a stock. It's basically, you don't know why it goes up. It's even less than a stock because there's no real value. Right? If Apple goes up, sales are up, right? So there's a reason the sales are up, Apple's up. There's no reason for Bitcoin to go up. There's no reason for it. It's not tied to a company, so it's just basically a Ponzi scheme. If more people get in, it goes up, and if they get out, it goes down. That's why they don't want you to sell it. That's the whole Ponzi scheme of it. So don't forget that part. And basically, that's what it is. Where gold goes up because there's huge demand and it's real money, and the real money, the paper money is worthless. So as the paper money goes to zero because nobody wants it, again, it's very simple in the market. If nobody wants your product, it's worthless. If everybody wants your product, it goes up. Gold, everybody wants. Price keeps going up and up and up. And everybody's so stupid. I don't know why gold's going up. Oh, because the dollar's going out. People who don't understand that the dollar, you can't just keep printing it like it would have no effect, are out of their fucking minds. And, oh, I don't know why it's going up. Yeah, bullshit. You don't know why, because the dollar's going to zero. Like it happened in Rome and France and Spain and England and everywhere else. Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Greece, every other fucking country where it went to zero is because they printed too much. Not hard to figure that out. You can't keep printing. You can't eat 20 cakes a day and not expect to gain weight and get sick. Not that hard, folks. So that's why gold's going up. We know that because the dollar keeps getting printed. You can't just out of thin air, I'm going to print $1 trillion to pay the interest on the debt. Plus all the military, we give money to Ukraine, which is basically bullshit. It comes back for the defense contractors. Where's that money come from? Thin air. Comes out of thin air, and there you go. So again, they've devalued it some more with $600 billion for Ukraine, $1 trillion for the interest. And who are we interesting? The other countries we owe who have bought your bonds are who you're paying. So it's not like we can just, well, we're not going to pay them. Well, then you'll be bankrupt and you won't have a country anymore. So anyway, that's why we all know that. So now we should have a real good week. Gold and silver 34.40 on its way to 45 to 50 to 100. Just because it was derivative to 50 and that was it, and it was price fixed, doesn't mean it can't get to $1,000 an ounce in the free market for free market gold or silver, right? If you let the free market physical, it's worth a hell of a lot more than 50 is. Gold's worth a hell of a lot more than 2,700 in the free market, the physical, not the derivative bullshit. But nobody understands that. It's not that hard. They're doing derivatives to price set it instead of the free market. Free market determines how much demand determines price. In the bullshit paper world, this is what we want. Potential spam. Fuck these people. So in the physical world, we don't know what the price of gold and silver is. We only know it's at least 10 times higher than what it is now because it's been held down, and the demand's been thwarted. You're finally getting demand, but it's still not the fair price. So once Brics says, hey, we're using the Shanghai Gold Exchange to set the price of physical gold and silver, then you're going to really see it because they don't want, why should the U.S. set the price of gold and silver when they don't have any? So look for that. Again, silver is very limited because it doesn't last. Gold is limited, but gold, you can't destroy gold, right? Gold is just gold, right? It's indestructible. Silver is destructible. It wears out, which means there's not that much of it because you're using it like all these solar panels. Well, they're going to wear out. So how much silver is going to be left after all these idiots do solar panels? And there's not enough demand now for the supply. So the price should be 2,000-3,000 an ounce, what the real supply demand price should be. It's being held down, but we know it's manipulative and we know it's price fixed. And all we can do is jump on Brics and hope Brics finally price fixes it, finally gets it off the price fix. All right. NFL, what a fucking week. 4 locks, 4 winners. The locks. Green Bay, Houston over. Detroit, Minnesota over. Carolina, Washington. I don't know how I got over with Mariota. And yesterday, the lock was Baltimore, Tampa over 43. They score 75. It almost looked like the defense wasn't even playing on either teams. It was just, these guys are wide open. Nobody's really tackling. It was very, very strange. But we took it. Those are 4 locks. The other plays were Denver on Thursday night. plus 3.5 win. Cincinnati, the free pick, wins. Philadelphia under, easy winner. Kansas City, Mahomes is a dog, winner. Pittsburgh is a home dog. I smelled Russell Wilson would play. And then last night I had the under in the Arizona-San Diego game. So I had both games played. So you missed a good one, folks, 10-0. I had a few buyers. G made a fortune because she bet the 4 locks with, I believe, Cincinnati and Kansas City. So she would have had a 16 teaser, and that should pay her a lot of money. So I'm happy for her. She's usually like a jinx when she buys the locks. They always lose. And finally, she bought the locks, and they all won. And I felt really good for her. So 10-0 yesterday. I just reshuffled, brought in the stats, and we'll look at week 8. So we've got Minnesota, LA on Thursday night. Minnesota's an A team, and the Rams are a W. Philadelphia, Cincinnati. Philly's an under. Cincinnati's an over. Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore's an over. Cleveland's an under. Tennessee, Detroit. Tennessee's an under. Detroit's an A team. Arizona's an E team. Miami's a Z team. Tua might be playing Sunday. I don't know what he's rushing back for. They're like, 1-7, and the guy's got a concussion. The Jets are an under. New England's a Z team. Atlanta's an even team. Tampa Bay's the over team. When are they going to go to Penix? They'll get tired of losing with Cousins because that's what he does. Green Bay's a B team. Jacksonville's a W team. Indy's an under team. Houston's an E team. New Orleans is an over team. San Diego's an under. Now, New Orleans is with Derek Carr, an over team. And here's where you got to watch the quarterbacks, which I'll talk about after. Buffalo's an A team. Seattle's an over team. Carolina's a W team. Denver's an under team, but getting better. Kansas City's a B team. Oakland's a W team. Chicago's a B team, but I question that, and I think they're more of an under, and Washington's an A team. They've been playing really bad teams. They beat Jacksonville and Carolina. I don't think the Bears are really a B team. So you got to keep that in mind also. This will be curious if Daniels plays. Then you'll see the difference between Daniels and Caleb. Dallas is a W team, especially with Micah Parsons out, and Frisco's an over team. And the Giants are an under team, and Pitt with Russell Wilson are a B team. Hey, Alex, you missed the fireworks. 10-0 with 4-0 locks on Sunday or on the NFL. That Baltimore overlock yesterday was sweet. That was like I didn't. I was gonna look. I waited till the end of the game, and I see 41-31, and I'm going, I only needed 43. I was really excited for that. So explaining it. So Philly's an under team. They just don't score, and they got a good defense. Cincinnati's an over team, scores with Burrow, but their defense isn't very good. Baltimore, same thing. They score a lot, and their defense is terrible. Cleveland is an under because they don't score, but they got Myles Garrett. Tennessee, Detroit. So Tennessee's an under team. They don't score. They don't really have a quarterback. And Detroit's an A team because they score, and their defense is pretty good. So the key is then the injuries. Wait a minute. New Orleans had Carr. They scored a lot. Without Carr, Rattler's terrible. But if they go to Haener, I think that'll be fun. That gives them the best chance to win until Carr gets back. I don't know why they went to Rattler. I don't know why the NFL thinks if they have the running quarterback, that way it gives 10 blockers on 11, and all the quarterback has to do is juke the one guy. What, are you on drugs? What do you mean that? First of all, these quarterbacks, you want to throw the ball to the receivers, not run the ball, and they're not going to juke it. And if you get a real good jukey guy like Jalen Milrose, yeah, where was he against Tennessee? Where was he against Vanderbilt? It doesn't win you the game. What wins you the game is the good quarterback juking. Whoever has this idea is a bunch of fucking idiots. But I feel that this is the problem, right? They're oh, we'll draft Drake May because he can run. He can't throw. I mean, it's insane. Okay, that's fine. Just send me a 50 and we'll work on both classes. We'll just do one right after the other. Let's see. So that's what you really have to differentiate is like there's you know, like Pittsburgh, you got Fields who can't throw to save his life, and then you got Russell Wilson who looks like he's ready for the Super Bowl. So they're going to have different scores. They're going to score 15 points with him and with Fields, but 25 points with Russell Wilson. So you have to kind of say, hey, we need two sets, depending on the quarterback. Jalen Daniels, he's hurt. I thought he got hurt right away, but he didn't. They had scored right away on a pick six, and then about 8 minutes into the game, he was still out there. So he must have got hurt on that drive. I love how they don't show it. Like, really? In the highlights? Yeah, we're not going to show you the injury. That's why I watch the highlights to see if somebody gets hurt, you idiots. So you got to keep in mind the switching quarterbacks. So LA also, you got to look at Cooper Kupp and Puka, when they're in versus when they're not. It's going to be more points. Philly and Cincy, not really much. Baltimore, Cleveland now has lost Deshaun Watson, which is probably a blessing in disguise. And that was giving them the best chance to win. So now they got Thompson Robinson or Winston. Boy, are they pathetic. Who's their GM? What idiot is this guy? This is my point. These are guys that cannot understand talent or spot talent or figure out who's good and who's bad. And they just pick Winston. Why is Winston in the league? He sucks. What are you doing? And Hartman's sitting there on Washington. I don't know. He ain't going to play with whatchamacallit. Then they brought in Mariota instead of Hartman. But I'd be all over Hartman if I was Cleveland or one of these teams. Tennessee, they've got Mason Rudolph now. Well, that's really probably stays as an under. Levis is terrible. Why they don't understand Levis is terrible and why they want them to run and they think it's good, but then they keep losing and they don't score. At what point do they realize this is a bad idea? It's sort of like when the Federal Reserve realizes we can't keep printing money, it's going to go to, it'll eventually lose its value. They won't admit to it. We'll just keep printing money and printing money. How can it go? We'll just keep printing money. No, the money loses value. You can't keep printing it. That's why gold never loses value. You can't print it. This is how much gold there is, and you can't print it, and this is how much. And because it's limited, it keeps its value. And it's so far undervalued. I hate when these idiots say, Mark McGuire had this old guy on Friday, and he's like, oh, no, I think gold's valued where it should be. Bullshit. You have no idea what the value of gold is. Gold's been price fixed by JP Morgan and derivatives. You have no fucking idea the gold price. So don't sit there and tell me gold's priced fairly. You have no idea where gold really should be priced. I say at least 10 times more, as the same with silver, because every time it starts running, they do the derivatives to knock it down. It's insanity, but it's backfired because all the other countries have said, fuck it, we'll buy our little gold cheap, and we know gold, nothing can happen to gold. And that's what you got this BRICS summit going on, hell, we'll go on a gold backed currency and we'll win because we know that's the way to win is gold. Everybody with gold always wins. All right. So that's what you got to watch. So the new quarterback, you have to adjust. There's a quarterback, Carolina, right? So you had Steve Young who sucked and he didn't score. And then all of a sudden, Dalton comes in and he starts scoring. Well, I had to adjust the average because I've got the Young no score games, 2 of them in there, and then Dalton's putting up 25-30. So now I had to tweak my total to Dalton because he's the one playing. it gets difficult. Like we'll see with Mariota. Maybe they got a great offensive coordinator at Washington because he put up 40 points. And, well, I think there was a pick six in there. Caleb's going to have his hand full with Washington. They look like they have a real defense. Dallas, they suck. Dak Prescott's terrible. But without Micah Parsons, they keep getting blown out. The Niners, they're a little bit low. The Giants are terrible, and Pitt now with Russell Wilson. So as these adjustments, you have to be open and tweak your assessment. And you read that, and you try to make the picks. So when I locked the over yesterday on Baltimore and the Baltimore-Tampa, both teams had 30 offenses, and both teams had 25 defenses. So it was a very easy, my defensive read was right. Neither team really plays good defense, and they both can score. And it was that's what I like about the pros. It was 49 or something. So I was over 43, 24-20. Give me a break. I knew that was not going to be a problem. When you think about it, 24-20 with Baltimore and Tampa, no, probably no problem. So that's what you're looking at. So I'll start adding the lines for this week. And this is how I find the lock is basically looking for the mismatch. Like Detroit, Tennessee could be a lock depending on the spread. I assume it'll be 12, 14 points. So that will not make it a lock. But if it's 7 or 8, I could easily lock down because Detroit will probably beat them good, especially at home. And with Mason Rudolph, they'll put pressure on him. He'll be dead. So you got to watch the new quarterbacks. New England with Drake May against the Jets. Green Bay, Jacksonville's terrible. I really like Minnesota with even with Darnold. He's much better than Cousins. And then Green Bay's got Love, who's starting to play well. The quarterbacks who can throw the ball down the field is who you want, not the running ones. I was watching the highlights of the Baltimore game, and they're all, oh, look at Lamar now. Where's the Lamar haters? We're not Lamar haters. We just don't like him because we like him yesterday when they play a weak team. He's going to light it up. We bet it over. We like him. We don't like him when he blows leads to Oakland. When he blows leads, there's the other game. And in the playoffs when they lose. We can't bet on him in the playoffs. That's not a hater. That's reality. He's not very good in big games against good defenses. But when he plays a weak defense, he's good. But that's just Lamar. He can't really throw very well. And he's a decent runner, but not in the pros. It doesn't work. Anyway, so that's our pros. So now I got to go in and put in my defense and my offense and the quarterbacks and try to figure out what I want to do with the quarterbacks. All right. College. We got 2 games tonight. So let me get some lines. Well, I'm starting to sweat. That's good. That's healing. All right. Tonight we got Sam Houston, 4.5, 46.5. Holy shit. And we got LTEC 6 and 48.5. And we'll look at tomorrow's games. Liberty minus 25, 45. And Jacksonville State minus 21 and 63. So pretty good. I nailed it. I had so here's my spread. Sam Houston 10 over Florida International, 4.5. 29 defense for Florida International, 25 for Sam Houston. 46.5 over under on the game. Sam Houston's a pretty good running team, 361, and Florida National 304. Now L Tech, I had laying 7, they're laying 6, 48.5. UTEP with a Z team, a 33 defense. L Tech a 24 defense. They both get about 300 yards. So it could be bet against the Z team type of game. So let me highlight the Z teams. The Sam Houston game over seems low. Well, they got, maybe. They do run the ball a lot. They're an E team. They score about 25 a game. Florida International scores more with the 29 defense. So I think Sam Houston should be able to score. I would think Sam Houston should be able to win the game off of this weak defense of Florida International before I mess around with the over-under, but maybe it's a low over-under. You already teased Sam Houston at 30 with L Tech -0.5, but in yesterday, Florida International quarterback is playing. I didn't know he was out. Okay, but Sam Houston's got a pretty good defense, so that's betting against the Z team. So let's highlight the Z teams. Tomorrow, Liberty, I had 24, 25, pretty good. 45 total. Tennessee State is a Z team, 32 defense, 225 yards, the perfect team. Liberty's the A team in the conference, 21 defense, 444. I would say that go against the Z team with Liberty, I would think. And then Middle Tennessee is also the Z team going against Jacksonville State, who's the explosive Rich Rodriguez team. I had 21. 21's the spread, 63 total. How do you go 63 in this game? Is Middle Tennessee going to score for you? Now, Jacksonville State, they both have 35 defenses. So you're not going to, there isn't going to be defense on the field. We got to see Middle Tennessee. We'll take a look at their schedule. How good can they put up 30? Because Jacksonville State's going to put up 35, 40 here. So either Middle Tennessee doesn't score because they're a Z team, means they don't normally score. And then Jacksonville State covers the 21, or Middle Tennessee State does score and we go over. So that's how you got to play that one. All right, so Z teams, UTEP tonight, Kennesaw State tomorrow, Middle Tennessee tomorrow. And then let's get to the rest of the world. Charlotte's a W. I'm going to tag them because they really suck. Georgia State's a W. Here we go. Temple was Z team. They did win a game. I was shocked. Akron, the Tournament of Champions, a Z team. Clark Kent, a Z team. Stanford, a W team, but we'll call them a Z team in conference. Tulsa, a W. Southern Miss, probably the worst team, them and Kent and Akron. Florida State, what do we call them? I'm calling them a W team, but they're so bad. And Oogly Boogly broke his finger. He's out. They went to the backup, who didn't look any better. Troy and Arkansas State are both W's, and they play each other. Houston's a W. They're really an under team, but they're just not scoring, and they're starting to give up a few more points. Wyoming's a Z team, and that's it. Then I'd like to highlight the low yard team. So Florida International, 300 yards a game. LUTEC, 307. UTEP, 273. Kennesaw State, 225, which goes, that's why they're a Z team. They can't move. They don't score. Old D, 290, but they won last week, the bastards. Over my Texas State. How the fuck did they beat Texas State? That just blows my mind. It's not like they got a killer defense. They're a 26 defense. It's not like they're a 10 and, I missed it. I mean, Although they might have gotten killed by Alabama or somebody, and then the rest of the games are low scoring. I tried to check that out. Buffalo, 300. Oklahoma, 207 yards a game for Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma, they just fired their offensive coordinator. I don't care who they bring. They can bring in Bill Walsh back from the dead. They're not going to score because they don't have a quarterback. The offense that is being run with this running dual quarterback does not work in the SEC. Never has, never will. You don't see Milrose running for 300 yards a game. He's got to pass. Texas, Ewers. Georgia, Beck. Alabama, Milrose. LSU, good quarter. You got to have the quarterback, not the runner. And that's 1970s wishbone. Go get Barry Switzer if you want. You're not winning, and it ain't your offensive coordinator. It's whoever decided to go with these idiot quarterbacks who can't throw the ball. That's your problem, and it ain't going to fix. They need to fire the coach for going this way, not their offensive coordinator. Charlotte 309. Northwestern 282. Even if they change coaches, they still don't get any yards. Akron 276. Kent looks like 206. Stanford 254. UTSA 317, but they just won a big game. Southern Miss 222. Room 222. Lou Monroe 237. They're a good under team. They're a good defensive team. Florida State 286. Ooglia Booglia at his finest. Troy 252. They need hell in there. Houston 260. What's up with that? They did switch quarterbacks. Wyoming 252. Let's see. That's about it. So it's a rhyme and a reason, right? They're a Z team means they don't have an offense, and then you look and they don't have any yards. That's why we like betting against them, because there's no threat. They don't have a defense, and there's really no threat of them scoring. How we lost. New Mexico State was a Z team last week and won, and it's one of those things. Again, these are averages. They have played 8 games now. Well, 7, and then the high school game, so 6. And you can see what they're averaging is 270. Doesn't mean, if they play a weak defensive team, they're going to score more or they're going to get more yards. It's an average. So you got to keep that in mind. It is an average, but we're trying to predict, and we need the data to predict. And this is the best data we can get. All right, so let's add the lines. So I've done my lines. I've done my E's and O's and my defense and my thing. So let's go. Old D. Thursday night. So we went Wednesday. Liberty 25-45. Jacksonville State 21-63. Probably a good. Well, we got to see. Do we want over or Jacksonville State? Sam Houston, I think, wins the game, and then L-Tech, UTEP's so bad. Maybe we do that. I don't know. I hate betting too many of these Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games because the teams are out of sort. It's not a normal. We play every Saturday, and okay, we'll throw a Friday in, but when you Tuesday, Wednesdays, man, you're not used to playing football those days. That's why I hate betting the London games. It's just too hard. The jet lag and everything else. And now Jacksonville's all fucked up. I can't wait to bet against Jacksonville this week. I think they get Green Bay. They're going to kill them. They won't know what day it is and what time it is. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Old Dominion is 2, 54.5. To Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's a very good team, an over team, 28 defense. Old D's an E team, but they beat Texas State, so I scratch my head.
with the 26 defense. So they don't score a lot, and they have decent defense. They don't get a lot of yards, but yet they get the turnover. I don't know. So Georgia Southern could be a live dog. They do score. We'll see. Pitt and Syracuse. Pitt is 6. I had Pitt -4 and 63. Pitt is 663 to Syracuse. Very good team. Sometimes they get the Ohio State quarterback who sometimes shows up. Didn't show up for Ohio State last year. Pitt's an 18. They did make that big comeback against Cincinnati, which didn't look big at the time, which is huge now because that's their only loss. They're going in. They got Colorado this week, Cincinnati. Could be a live dog there. 25 defense, 24 defense. Probably could be an over game, 63-57. Should be some points. Louisville, 7, 53.5 to BC. I have Louisville 10. They're an A team. BC's a B team. Castellanos played, and then he doesn't look as good now. 24 defense for Louisville. See, now that's where it doesn't mean much. Miami, they played a 100-point game. They got 24 defense, but against what I'm really noticing is when you play an Alabama or a Georgia or a Texas, it doesn't matter what your defense is. They're gonna light you up. You can't really do anything against Oregon, Ohio State. They're going to get your points. That's the whole Oregon-Ohio State game. You got two teams with under 10 defenses, and the score is 32-31. That's averaged against weaker teams. That's the whole non-conference schedule. Ohio State playing Akron and teams like that. And then they get up against each other. You really don't have – it's really not a 9 defense. I mean, unless it's the Georgia defense of a few years ago. You're not talking 9 and 10s. It's – you're not stopping Oregon, and you're not stopping Ohio State. So depending on, if you're playing Miami, you're not going to hold them to 10 points. I don't care what your defense looks like. So anyway, so Louisville, BC, Louisville, strong offense. We love the quarterback from Texas Tech, Shaw, against BC, decent quarterback. Here's where I got into trouble last week was these 50s, and I kept going over on the 50s, and they weren't getting there. They look at Georgia won 35-10. It was a 45. Where was Texas's offense? They didn't show up. I mean, come on. You put up 30 on Michigan, who's a very strong defensive team. They just don't have a quarterback. All right, Boise, Vegas. I've been waiting for this one. I got Boise 4. Boise is 3.5 and 66.5. And we got Gentry as running back. And we got Vegas, who's got a good quarterback. They had a strong defense, but it's now a 23 defense. And Boise, you look at the Boise-Oregon game, 37-34 Oregon. Boise Gentry, they couldn't stop Gentry. He ran right through them. I don't see Vegas really stopping them, but I think Vegas can stay there. Do I want Vegas in 9.5? That's a tough ask. It's probably doable. Over under a 66. Do I want to go over 60? Probably doable. That's why you put your score down, and then you get how far off you are from the real line, and that's where you get your big plays. And that's about what I thought. Vegas, very strong A team, so we will see. But it's a Friday night game, so but Vegas has been playing Friday nights the last few weeks. And let's see, USC 14.5, 56.5. I'm there. This line's very off. I have USC -7. USC's not that good. Rutgers, okay, they're getting killed. I don't know what happened to them. They had this great defense. They beat Washington, and then they go and get killed. By Wisconsin kills them, and somebody else last week, and you're scratching your head. USC definitely plays better at home because they don't have to travel So this is the Big Ten. It's a big mess. So now Rutgers flies to the West Coast. I thought they're worried about jet fuel and cost. Apparently not. Um, now, here's the problem. This game's at 11 o'clock. Okay, Eastern time. Okay, it's 8 o'clock for USC. It's a normal night game. It's 11 o'clock. This game's over at 2 in the morning for Rutgers. I mean, they're fucked in this game. Unbelievable. All right. Georgia Tech, VTech. VTech is 10.5. Is Kings playing my quarterback? That's the key. If Kings plays, I love Georgia Tech. If he doesn't play, I don't know what to do with the game. Because the backup didn't look terrible. He was able to complete passes and run a little bit. It's the same system. And the good coach will get the backup ready. So I'm, it's a big number. If I get Kings, this is an over. No problem. If I don't get Kings, I don't know what to do. Virginia, 4.5, 59. To North Carolina. North Carolina got problems. Virginia's playing better. Both kind of weak defenses. I think this gets a good score. Ohio, Buffalo. Ohio, 644.5. I had 7. Vegas should take their lines from me instead of the other way around. Buffalo's an under team. Ohio's an under team, 44.5. Buffalo with the 26 defense. Ohio with the 24. So kind of probably be an under game. North Texas, Tulane. Love the game. Where are my teams? Tulane, I had 6 is 7.5 and 65.5. Tulane's the 18. North Texas, we know, is a strong over. I can't believe I didn't lock them. They were getting 11.5 from Memphis. I bet them, and I'm like, it's like the Vanderbilt game. They're getting 14 from Kentucky, and I don't lock them. And here's North Texas getting 11.5 from Memphis, and I don't lock them. They lose by 8. I get 17. I kind of get frustrated when I miss the easy ones. Right, that spread was 3, and it comes out 11, and I don't lock it. Very frustrating. So Tulane, 7.5, 65. Tulane's an 18 with a good defense. North Texas scores a bunch with the 36 defense. So I look for Tulane to win the game because of the weak North Texas defense, but look for North Texas. Now, here's where Tulane has a 20 defense, but not in this game. They won't have a 20 defense here. Total of 65 is kind of a big total with Tulane, but not with North Texas. So we will have to see. Notre Dame and the Navy. Very interesting. I have Notre Dame minus 10, and I'm being courteous. They're minus 13, 52. And the bells and whistles are going off with the Navy getting 19 points. This is exactly what I just talked about. This is the Vanderbilt, Kentucky game. Navy is a team. Notre Dame doesn't show me offense. They have a good defense, but Navy can throw the ball now. They're a much better team, and they got a good defense. Navy can win the game, certainly. This is I think too high. 19 points. I have 10, which I thought was a little high, but I was hoping I'd get 10. Here I get 13. This is just too many points. Nebraska, Ohio State. I have Ohio State 24. It's Ohio State 25. Yeah, pretty good. And 48 total. Nebraska didn't show up against Indiana, and I don't think they'll show up here. They're showing how weak Raiola is. He couldn't do anything against Indiana. He's not going to do anything here. Look for Ohio State to just kill him. I mean, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him, as Herman Munster would say. Yeah, it's funny. Nebraska went from like a 7 defense to a 10 to an 18. See, one game, they give up 50 points to Indiana. Now they're an 18 defense. Ohio State's an 11, even though they gave up the points to Oregon. Ohio State's off of the loss. They haven't played since Oregon. And they're a little afraid of Nebraska. But Nebraska doesn't show me anything that's going to hurt Ohio State. Go Bucks, beat Army. Yeah, I mean, anything under 21, I think you got to take Ohio State here. The 48 total, I don't know what Nebraska is going to help you with. So pick your score, and then does Nebraska score for you? If they do, you go over. But this is like Ohio State, Michigan State 35-7, Iowa 35-7. You're in the same neighborhood there. And Nebraska's defense is not any better than Michigan State's or Iowa's. Oklahoma against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is laying 20. Wow. Unbelievable. 48 total. Oklahoma with 0 offense. Ole Miss, I don't know. They've been struggling lately. Let's look at the matchup on this game. What has Ole Miss been doing against real teams, right? Ole Miss, they lose to LSU 29-26. They beat South Carolina. So this mystifies me. They beat South Carolina 27-3, and South Carolina's killed Oklahoma. They lose to so once we get out of this Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern bullshit where they're putting up 50 points a game, we now have to recalibrate it. 17 on Kentucky, 27 on South Carolina, 26 on LSU. So they are now a 44 and 26. There is 70 offense divided by 3 gives you 22, 23. Let's give them a 23 offense. And the defense is now 23 and 29 is a 52 divided by 3 is what, 16, 17. So it's a 17. So we have to, they're not an 11, they're a 17. And what did I say their offense was? 53, 63, 70, which is 22, 23. So now Mississippi's a 23-17. They're not an A team. They're an under team. They're not going to score a lot on Oklahoma, but we know Oklahoma can't score. This is probably an under game. If we look at Oklahoma, I mean, what's to look at? 9 points on South Carolina, 3 on Texas, and you beat Auburn 27-21 somehow. Defensively, Oklahoma is a 21, a 34, and a 35. Oh, my God. Let's go back 4. Let's include Tennessee. So they've scored 15, 27 on Auburn, 3 and 9. So they basically got a 12 offense. And on defense, they let up 25, 21, 34, and 35. And the guy fires the offensive coordinator. What is the head coach still doing there? He is in way over his head. That's roughly a 30 defense. So we got to go Ole Miss here. And then I don't know if we go under because Oklahoma's kind of a Z team and Ole Miss is kind of an under team. So I don't know which way to take it. Ole Miss laying 20. I don't know. Changing offensive coordinators is not going to help them. They still have the shitty quarterbacks. And their defense is terrible. So let's change their defense. 46 and 70 is 70 and 40, 110, 116 divided by 4, 30, about 29. So what you got here is Oklahoma with the 29 defense and Ole Miss with the 17 defense, not the 11 and the 21 that we saw previously. Let's look at it as the Texas game. They lost 34-3. The Tennessee game, 25-15. So they're playing pretty low score. Even Auburn was 48. I think you go under in this game. I don't think old Jackson Dart ain't going to do shit. He's not. He's overrated. He likes to run a little bit, but I don't see Oklahoma scoring. So this is an under game. Yeah. See, but you have to not look at the whole picture. You've got to look at the SEC pit, the last 4 games, and look how pathetic Oklahoma is. 9 on South Carolina is not this strong defense. They're not Georgia. And then they give up 34 to Texas, 35 to South Carolina, 21 to Auburn, 25. So this is not a low-scoring defense. It is in the whole scheme, but not here because they got a 12-point Houston game. They beat Temple 51-3, which really skews everything, right? It makes them look stronger offensive and better defense. Take that out. If we just take the Temple game out, Houston 16-12, Tulane 34-19. How the hell they beat Tulane? Then Tennessee, Auburn, so really all their games are under. They just have a very weak offense and a decent defense. I don't question their defense, although it looks far worse than it is. Okay, so that's how you kind of recalibrate the totals, right? Something doesn't look right. Look at look at the conference games. Now you got 4 weeks of conference games. And then if it's close, okay. But if it's like this, where they're giving up 30 points a game, this is not, but they don't score. So it's a beautiful under team, Oklahoma. They're going to give up 30 and that score. It's a pleasure. All right, Charlotte, Memphis. Memphis, 18.5. I had 21 and 57. Let's move on here. Indiana, 6.5, 53 to Washington. Now, the problem is our quarterback's out for Indiana, unfortunately. This would have been a lock. Indiana, even the way they're playing, Washington struggles on the road, but we don't have him. How good's the backup? He didn't really play last week, so we don't know. This is unknown territory. We can't bet the game. We can play it under if we don't think he's going to do much, but they got such a good offensive scheme that they just score. I still think Indiana wins the game, but we don't have the quarterback, so it's going to be a watch game. You can't, if you don't know the quarterback, you just can't. How can you play the game? You don't know what you're expecting. You have to have expectations of the game. You have to have a reason you're betting it. So if Indy's healthy, I'm betting it, but without the quarterback, it's like Cam Rising, without the quarterback, you can't really do much. All right. So we'll have to see. Arkansas and Old Mississippi State. I have Arkansas 10. Now here they're only laying 7, odd, and a 58. The Old Mississippi State has been scoring a little bit better. I don't know if they changed quarterbacks or not, but this is a little, it's a kind of low, I think, the 7. App State, 7.5. I have 7 and 63 to Georgia State. Georgia State's a W team. App State's an over team. Aguilar, excellent quarterback. The defense sucks. They have a 38 defense. So this is 38 against 30 defensively. Georgia State just doesn't give you enough points. Kind of a high 63 total. Central Michigan, Miami of Ohio. I got Miami of Ohio 3 is 12. Wow. With the 47 total. Central's an over team. Miami's an under team. So here you kind of don't know which way to take it. Temple, East Car. East Car is a 7. I have a -10 and a 49. Temple's a Z team, 32 defense. East Car is an over team with the 28 defense. So you would like to think East Car can get the win, but they're really not that strong this year. Alabama against Old Missouri. Alabama -14. I had a -7. Missouri's pretty good, and a 56 total. Missouri brings a 16 defense, maybe, and Alabama 21 defense, maybe. We'll have to check them in conference. Normally, this is a dog. Missouri at home could win this game. At Alabama, I don't know, but Alabama's not been playing very good ball the last few weeks. UTSA 854 to Tulsa. I had 7. It's 7.5 and 54. Tulsa gives up 30 a game, 35 a game. UTSA 30 a game. No defense here. BYU UCF, game of the year for BYU. They're undefeated, trying for the playoffs. I have -3. They're -2. 55.5. Total UCF. More of an over team with the 26 defense. BYU's an A team with a strong defense. Don't want to bet over on BYU here. Interesting. My friend who lives in Florida is a BYU guy is going to the game. I was happy for him because it's in his backyard. UCF's in Tampa, Orlando area. So I said, "Are you going?" He says, "Yeah, I got tickets." I said, "There you go. That's a game you should go to. It's in your backyard, and BYU's undefeated." He was telling me that he didn't think BYU is going to be good because of their quarterback and fucking defeated because of their defense. UConn, -10 is -6 and 46 to Rice. Rice is pretty bad, an E team with a 26. UConn has been playing very strong over. They lost to Wake Forest. I was a little surprised by 2 last week. They should handle Rice at home. I don't know if I have the balls to start betting UConn, but that's probably the play. Minnesota, -4 and 46 to Maryland. Reset. Maryland's an E team with the 25. Minnesota is a very good. They're an under team with a 16 defense, and they're very good at home. I think Minnesota wins this game. Baylor. Where are you, Baylor? Baylor -7 is -6.5. 65 to Oak State. This should be high scoring. Both defenses are near 30. Oak State, we know can score. Baylor, we know can score. Yeah, this is probably a nice overplay. Eastern Michigan, if I can find them. Oh, seriously, what the fuck are they? No, I missed them. Oh, there they are. Eastern Michigan, I got -14 is -3. Here's the misplay of the week, 52. Akron, an E team, a Z team. Eastern's an over team. Akron with the 37 defense. Eastern only laying 3. Is the quarterback okay? That's about all you can figure is the quarterback. If the quarterback's well, this is the play. Northern Illinois, 12, 48.5 to Ball State. I got them 7. They're 12 and 48.5. Ball State's an over team, but Vandy didn't light them up last week. They only got 28 on them. It's a 43 defense. Northern Illinois is more of an under team. They're better as a dog, as we see. So I don't know what to do with them. Iowa 14, that's what I had, and 38 to Northwestern. Northwestern's an under team. I was a B team with a good running back, but they tend to not show up that well on the road. A 20 defense, so we'll see what happens there.
Illinois, Oregon. I got 21 and the spread is 21. How about that? 54 total. Oregon at home is murder, as we know. They pounded Purdue 35-0 in a sleepwalk. They'll be more energized at home. Illinois beat Michigan. They'll probably be flat as hell. They got all sky high and wore all the new helmets, and they beat Michigan. But now reality sets in. We got to go to Oregon. Look out. Oregon should kill them. One of my games, TCU and T-Tech. I got TCU -3. They're -7 and 66. This should be a very explosive game. T-Tech's an over team with the 36 defense. TCU's an over team with the 27 defense. Look for a boatload of points there. And then we go to Kent, Western Michigan. And we got Western -17, which I hit on the nose, and a 59. Kent's the Z team. Western's an over team. Western should be good there. Toledo, 2.5. I have Toledo -10, huh? Toledo, 2.5, 47 to Bowling Green. Bowling Green's an under team with a 21 defense, but Toledo's an 8 team with a 19 defense. Something's wrong with that spread. 2.5. How is it not at least 7? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Wake and Stanford. Game's in Stanford, so Wake's got to travel East Coast to West Coast. Another stupidity move. Wake, I had 6-3. Stanford's a W team. Wake's more of an over team, but I hate their quarterback. Both have 32 defenses. We'll see. James Madison, our team. The Jameser is, I have 17 or 24, 54. Playing a Z team and Southern Miss. James Madison should light them up. We know how explosive they can be. They're the 70-pointer over North Carolina. 18 defense, 400 yards a game. Southern Miss stinks. So James Madison should have a good day here, you would like to think. Oregon State, Cal. I got Cal -3, Cal -9. Wow, and 49. Excuse me. I don't have enough energy. Cal's an under team. Oregon State's an over team, 27 defense. Cal, 18, really good defense. They did win at Auburn, and they had Miami in that 38-37 game. They were up 20 on Miami. Cal with the suffocating defense here. Texas and Vanderbilt. Ooh, I got Texas 17. Texas is 19. 53.5. And how comfortable are we betting Texas in this game? Not at all. This is what Vanderbilt lives for. They're a home dog, and they've beaten Alabama and Kentucky. Look out. Do they match up well? Now, how they beat Alabama, they score 40 points. Are they going to score 40 on Texas? Well, it's Texas. Let's revamp Texas here. What are they really? Let's go back the last 3 games. We can't count Lou Monroe. So they scored 35 on Old Mississippi State, who sucks, 34 on Oklahoma, who sucks, and 15 on Georgia, who looks like gold again. So that's a 69, 79, 84 divided by 3 is 28. So they're a 28 offense. And let's look at their defense. 13, 3, and 30. 46 divided by 3 is 15. So they're not a 10 defense. Now, the problem is Oklahoma has no offense. So do we even count that game? Is it realistic? So if we look at Texas, they're a fraud. They beat Colorado State 52-0. Michigan 31-12 they don't have an offense. UTSA, hardly a good team. Lou Monroe's an under team, 51-3.
Old Mississippi State scores a little, but Oklahoma's not an offense. And then Georgia lights it up 30-15. And I think that's really the only game you can go by because they played nobody. They're pulling a Michigan here with this bullshit schedule. Give them credit for beating Michigan, but outside of that, they played one other good team, Georgia, and Georgia kicked their ass. So I think we see what Texas is really made out of, a 28-15, which is not an A team. Maybe we'll call them a B team. But now let's look at Vanderbilt, their last four. They lose 30-27 Old Missouri. They beat Alabama 40-35, but anytime you beat Alabama, 20-13 to Kentucky. So they seem to score as much as they need. And then last week with Ball State, 24-14. So they're going to score roughly 30 points. And then they give up 65 and 27, so 92. It's a 25, let's say. Yeah, they're about right, 22. So they're a 30-22. That's about where they are, a B team. I think they score on Texas. I don't buy 19 points. Would you want to take Texas minus 13? Be my guest. I have nothing to do with that. So look for Vandy to at home. That's the difference. Colorado State 6.5. I had 3. 65 to New Mexico. New Mexico is the team that scores 100 points a game and gives up 100 points a game. And they played a 95 last week with Utah State. Colorado State's an E team with a weak defense, 27. I'd say New Mexico is a very live dog here, as is the over is very live. Lou Monroe against South Alabama. South Alabama, I got 7 is 7.5. Amazing how I do that, huh? 45 total. Lou Monroe's an under team, 20 defense. South Alabama is an over team with a 25 defense. Interesting game. Ark State. I have 6 is 7.5 and 51 to Troy. Troy's terrible. Ark State's not. They're both W teams, both with shit defenses. West Virginia and Arizona. I got West Virginia by 7. They got Arizona minus 3 with a 55. They didn't show up against Colorado last week. I think West Virginia is a very live dog here. And the total, I can't trust Arizona to score. 7 on Kansas State, fucked my over. And last week, 7 on Colorado. Are you kidding me? West Virginia with a weak defense, but I can't trust it. We've got Utah 3.5, 37 against Houston. I mean, you don't have Cam Rising, so it's, and then Houston's, I think they switch quarterbacks. They don't score a lot. Pretty good defense. We'll see. Florida State, Miami. Booglia. Miami minus 21 and 54.5. Gotta love Miami here. Florida State, no offense, 25 defense. So the defense has left them 286 yards a game. Most of it's Buglia's incompetence. But Miami puts up 551. It's at Miami. This is not going to be pretty. Utah State, Wyoming. Utah State. Holy shit, Wyoming's minus 2, 57.5. Is the quarterback out? If the quarterback's in, this is crazy. No, he played last week. Petrus. Petrus is from Iowa. How the fuck is Wyoming favored in this game? They beat the Air Force 31-19. Jesus, you got to be kidding me. Wyoming, I guess, because they're at home. Utah State, all right, 44 defense, but Wyoming's got a 30 defense. They suck this year, but you're giving me a very live dog, Utah State. They score a lot of points. Let's put it that way. Wow. Bobby's team, LSU. Holy shit. I got LSU -3 and A&M's -3. 53. I mean, how do you make LSU the dog? I'm very happy. Michigan State, Michigan 7. Michigan is a 5 and 40.5. Same thing. How is Michigan favored here? They have no offense. Michigan State just beat fucking who? They just beat Iowa. I mean, they're playing good ball. Wow. Penn State. Now, don't let me screw up these easy bets, right? Penn State 6 is 6, 47.5. And this is interesting. This game is at Wisconsin. Penn State went to USC and was down and came back and won 33-30. I think this is a similar. Wisconsin's playing very good right now. And they are at home. So you're kind of leaning towards the home team in the Big Ten a lot more because of all the travel. But here it's not. This is short travel. Kentucky 2.5, 43. I have 2. I have 3. 2.5, 43 to Auburn. Auburn's a B team. Kentucky's a really strong under team. This is probably an under game. Kansas State. Love this one. Kansas, I have 7 is 11. 55.5. This is a game K-State normally wins. It's a pretty big number. Kansas has been playing better, and Kansas State is always playing very well. SMU Duke, I got SMU by 10. SMU's -12 and 49. SMU's an A team with a 20 defense. Duke's a B team, 17. SMU's been killing everybody. San Jose State, Fresno State. I got Fresno State -3. They're -5. 55. This is my Vegas story. So the line went from 7 to 11 on Fresno State when they had Derek Carr, and San Jose State wins the game straight out. Jesus, it was crazy. So this is a big rivalry. Take the dog, I think. Cincinnati, Colorado, interesting. I got Colorado -7. Colorado's -6. 57.5. This is a tease the dog A game. I like the dog in this game with the points. I like Colorado. I don't know over under. They've been playing better defense, so they're not going to shut down Cincinnati. No fucking way. Washington State 14. That's what I got. 14 and 56 to San Diego State, who can't score. In our last game, Nevada -3, Nevada -2.5, 46.5 to Hawaii. I'm not going to do the pros because I got to put my own lines in. I did put my own lines in for college. And I can see most of, like the LSU game, I got LSU -3. I got A&M -3. Okay, I'll take LSU at 9. Thank you very much. That doesn't make sense. That's where you get the lock from. The line's so far off. Okay, did my quarterback get in? Like, why? How did you fuck this up, this line? And that's really why I do my line. I was pretty close on Colorado, Washington State, Nevada. I have Utah State -7, and they got Wyoming -2. There you go. Simple as that. All right, so that's college football. Pros, we covered what happened last week. Let's look at gold. I hate when I hit the button and it doesn't adjust. All right. Gold's at 27.39. It had reached 27.44 on its way to 3,000 and probably more. 34.56 silver on its way to 100. So that's our gold and silver. That's your football. So you have to come up with a reason to bet the games. You're looking for rivalries off of Ohio State's off of a loss, right? They lost to Oregon. That's a pretty big nut there, and you're looking at that. We have Brics going on in Kazan, Russia, where they're announcing a gold-backed currency. Should be today or tomorrow. We'll look for news on that. But you can see gold 27.40. It hits 27, it just keeps going. Pull a little pull back because of derivatives, not because of anybody selling gold. Nobody in their right mind selling gold now. Who has gold to sell? I mean, it's the central banks with the tons of gold. Now, Egon says, well, they're going to buy a little at a time to not raise the price. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's not priced by the central banks. It's priced by JP Morgan and COMEX. They're the ones who price it, not the banks. But we're looking to get rid of that, and then we can really see silver at its real price of $2,000. People just don't get it, and I love when these people do the technical trends and they go, "Oh, look, it's about to break out. Look what happened in 2008." It's bullshit. They're fucking idiots. They don't have an understanding of what the fuck they're looking at because it's fixed. You can't look at a trend. There is no trend analysis on a fixed thing. On a price fixed gold and silver, you'll never be able to do a trend analysis. Only on live things like football. You can do a trend analysis on football. You can't do it on gold. You can't do it on things that are price fixed because it's not the control of the market, so it doesn't work. Bunch of idiots. Anyway, that's what we got. So we'll be studying a little bit more. We'll try to find injuries, which are extremely difficult in gold and silver. Let me check YouTube and see if there's any. What is this? Am I going to vote or already voted for Donald Trump? Fuck. Does it matter? George Soros is controlling the elections. For our Canadian friends, you're fucked. Trudeau freezing all government bills until probably, I can't read it, sanctions or whatever, but wouldn't want to be in Canada now or most of Europe. Well, high price controls crippled Rome. So we already know they suck and shouldn't do that. Anything on Brics? Oh, here we go. I'm going to jump on that. Russian. Okay, so I'm going to go into that. I'm not going to waste our time here, but I'm going to bookmark it. If it'll let me in, it's circling.
Anything about gold backed currency? That's a bunch of bullshit chatter. Well, I can't get in yet, but we will see. But we'll try to go into it. Anyway, that's it. So college, now it's study time, and then we got to check. We can't check injuries. It sucks. All we could do is go, is Cam Rising playing? They can say no on Google, but when I try to go, give me the injured quarterbacks, for example, all I get is go to covers, and covers is last updated September 14th. So it's really crazy. I can't get injury. I've never had this in my life where I can't get the injury. I don't know who's quarterback. I seem to be able to get injuries in the NFL better, but not in college. So when I see a strange line, like Ohio State 24 is 25, I assume nobody's injured. That's about all I can do. Notre Dame Navy, interesting. We get Navy in 19 points. I'm so excited. Arkansas, Old Miss, Mississippi State. Yeah. So we'll go through the games and we'll try to, be very careful. And then pros we will look at and try to go 10-0 next week. The locks were easy. Washington, even though I got screwed where Daniels gets hurt, I still get over. Yesterday was a no-brainer, easy over, and the Minnesota-Detroit was an easy over. Green Bay-Houston was there, but they dicked around at the end with field goals, so I'm not sure what happened. Maybe Houston's got a little better defense than I think, and Green Bay's got a little better defense than I think. Because really for the overs, you want bad defenses like Detroit's, Baltimore's, Tampa's. Those are very easy, although Minnesota's got a good defense, but Detroit's offense was able to do it. Plus, you're looking at the number. If it's 42, I think Green Bay's was 47. I needed 41. I mean, that was a joke. Anyway, so that's about what's going on. I'm off. I need heat. I'm off to the hot tub and say I'm okay, but now as I'm talking, I'm wearing myself down, and I got to study for this. Thursday's my interview at 2. We will see. I'm not sure if I'll do 10. I might go sit in the hot tub at 10 in the morning and then do our class after that because that's more important to me. We'll see, and then we got to see if they even have money to pay me. Yeah, pay me in gold. That'd be fine. Just give me a couple ounces of gold for a paycheck. I'll be happy. Could you imagine? Yeah, give me 3 ounces of gold. That'll be my paycheck. The new economy. All right, buy your gold and silver. It's just going up and up and up and up and up, and there's no reason for it to drop because there's no reason for it. You got to get out of the dollar. That's your first thing. Get out of the dollar. You only have one lifeboat, gold and silver. And you don't want to sell your gold to get back into the dollar unless it's to pay off a bill or something, or some expense comes and you're going to quickly take the money and buy something with it. Pay rent, pay food. Okay, then sell your gold for that to then do that. That's fine. Otherwise, you don't want you're not profit taking. You're not selling 10 ounces of gold for toilet paper. Because the toilet paper is going to be zero if it isn't already, and the gold's going to, as you can see, keeps going up and up and up. All right, I think that's about it.
So huge week, 10-0. I get about 3 or 4 of those a year where I had Mahomes as a dog. I had Joe Burrow against Cleveland. I have Philly, the Giants under. I have San Diego last night under the 4 locks. So but I don't have that every week. That's why I say some weeks are pocket aces and some weeks are 8, 9 of diamonds. It's just you don't have the man, and that's why sometimes I throw out games because I say no, I'm not. I don't know how to play Indianapolis or Jacksonville or Tennessee. They suck so badly; they're inconsistent. You don't know how to play them, so you just ignore them. Forget this game. Let's go to the good teams. Let's go to Mahomes and Burrow, and that's why you keep betting Mahomes and Burrow because you know he's going to win the game, and you can't say that. You can only say it with Burrow. You can't say it about Will Levis. Oh, he's going to win the game. Trevor Lawrence. These guys suck. They shouldn't be in the NFL. These teams with these quarterbacks are fucked, and you can't play them. Anyway, I think that's about it. www.teaserking.com. You can get the locks, the free plays, or the locks, the pros or the college for the week, for the month. A lot of people are buying the month because it's a big bargain. It's $300 instead of $400. People signing up for the classes, so that's good. So whatever you want, but definitely. It's now I can read, right? The first few weeks you don't know what you got. Now we got it. Now we understand what's going on. So anyway, that's what separates me from the rest is I can adjust and go, wait a minute, Baltimore's an over, Tampa Bay's an over. Last year they sucked. So you can read that. Now you can adjust. That's what all my stats and trends do. And they go, oh, fuck. These are over teams. Bet them over. And then you win. And you're like, oh, okay. Minnesota was never an over with Kirk Cousins. Here's Sam Darnold, and they're an over. Kirk Cousins. Jeez, the guy's so bad. Good luck, Atlanta. Until you go to Michael Penix, you're fucked. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. I am off to the pool. All right. Take care, everybody.